How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Terror Talk. Guys, great discussion we're going to have today. Basically, we had some issues in 2022. We're going to discuss some of those issues, and hopefully in the process of us discussing it, we could talk about what we can do better in 2023. We're going to be discussing an article that came from Corrections One, which is going to talk about the top concerns that we faced in 2022. And also, we're going to look at some of the recruitment videos that they rated as the best this year. Me, Connie, and Joe Pomponio are going to discuss the videos. We're going to rate them from 1 to 10 and, maybe give some insight if it's needed. If not, hopefully they're good videos where we can maybe model some of those ideas. So when we present our videos, we could, maybe put a best effort forward in recruiting individuals. So we're going to watch a few recruitment videos in a little bit as well, which I'm excited. I haven't seen them yet. Neither is Connie, neither is Joe. So this is going to be honestly our first look at that and then our initial input. So bear with us because I'm actually looking forward to watching these videos and then seeing what thoughts we could share on each video. Guys, just let me get my sponsors in there. We first have American Military University. Guys, if you're looking to get a degree, seek higher education, please check out American Military University. They're very supportive of what we do in corrections, very supportive of what we have here on Tier Talk. And guys, there are a lot of people now that have entered American Military University that have got the information from this channel. So thank you for trusting in me and my sponsor. And hopefully you're able to use the knowledge they provide, which I'm sure you are, and then make an excellent career in whatever it is that you choose to do. Even if it's not corrections, I truly do wish you the best for those that have taken the opportunity to check out American Military University. So thank you. Guardian RFID, from mimic tracking and cell checks to cloud-based business and artificial intelligence. Guardian RFID digitally transforms jails, prisons, and juvenile detention facilities of every size. Visit guardianrfid.com for more information. Guys, if you get a chance, also let's show some support to Guardian RFID. They're very supportive of what we do in corrections. They have a great YouTube channel. Some of it is on their technology, but they also have a lot of content on tips and advice. So if you guys get a chance, please check it out. We also have Inmate Manipulation Decoded. That's available on the market. I know it's being used for training across the country right now, so thank you for those that have chosen it as a training book. And guys, the link to that is in the description. That's available on Amazon. Also at Target, if you want to get it at Target. We also have Lessons Learned While Working in a Prison, My Journey from Officer to Administration. Guys, this is a great book loaded with tons of tips, not just for myself, but also from other professionals in the field. And it's also a book that you can write your own thoughts and then eventually give it to someone who you feel has the greatest potential. That book is also available now. That's also on Amazon. And guys, check this out. NJDOC, New Jersey Department of Corrections, is hiring. So if you guys get a chance, check out the New Jersey Department of Corrections website. I mean, they got good pay, and they are considered law enforcement police officers. So it's a great field to get into. Not only are we looking for officers, but all walks of life. We're also looking for the civilian side of things as well. So if you guys get a chance, go to njdoc.gov, check out the opportunities. I love this profession. I love what NJDOC has done for me. Again, just, really had a powerful impact on what I do. I mean, I'm a very proud member of the NJDOC family. So if you guys get a chance, please check it out. We're suffering too, like everybody else, when it comes to understaffing. So we're looking for true heroes on all walks of life to step up, take the baton, and continue our mission forward. And I think that's the key. Now we got, it's funny, guys, it's my second time doing this because we messed up the first time. The computer froze. And I had funny material the first time, but if I say it now, it'll be funny for you because it's your first time. But then my guests will be giving me a pity laugh because it's the second time they heard it. So those jokes are pretty much gone forever. I just want everybody to know that. Let's bring Connie on. Hi, Connie. Because I know what you'll do. I'll say the joke, you heard it before, and you'll laugh, but it just won't feel sincere. So let's be totally serious this show.
Yes, we'll be serious.
Hey, God, you mind introducing yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Constantine Aline. I am the founder and president of the Civilian Corrections Academy. I am also the author of The Cage Was Her Cocoon. You told me to be serious.
Yeah, well, you went Constantine.
Right.
That's as serious as death. Go back to Connie. You know what I mean? The heck was that? You know what I mean? That was
You
like
told me to be serious.
bad,
I was being serious.
that was like a bad medical diagnosis. I didn't expect that. I'm like, wait a second. I was waiting for you to call me Anthony. You know what I mean? All right, so that
Oh,
was funny.
geez.
Hey, at least we got some new joke material in there. That was good.
See,
Thanks,
we got
Connie.
new material.
I appreciate that. But guys, if you get a chance, please check out her book. And also, guys, if you're from the agency right now, please check out Civilian Corrections Academy. It was great. Me and Joe, who'll be on the show shortly, we actually just did a video and found out that's being used in training. Joe will have to tell me. I forget. I don't know if the guy mentioned the county or agency, but these videos are used throughout training. Guys, if you get a chance, please check out what Connie has to offer. She's an extension of the team, but she also has her own stuff that's very helpful for the civilians who are trying to navigate their way through this profession. So if you guys don't have anything, this could be a good opportunity to check out what she has to offer. So again, check it out, Civilian Corrections Academy.
So I want to give Tear Talk a shout out, right? Because I think I told you the other day. So I have one of my Correction Academy demonstrations, and I call, we have our Zoom meeting or what have you. And, I'm talking about all the academy, blah, 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 and all that's great. And so I'm like, so the person who I was speaking with said, I'm pretty new in this role and I'm like trying to figure some things out. And I think I'm young, and it was all this stuff, right? Which I won't repeat all of it. You have my confidence in that. So, in doing that, though, I was like, well, you know what? Tear Talk. I said, I do this podcast, Tear Talk. It's me, Gangi, it's Russ, it's Joe, it's a couple of us. And so he says, it's you. I didn't realize it was you. I watched Tear Talk. And I was so flattered, of course, because I'm like,
that's pretty awesome.
This is really cool, right? But then it was also like one of those moments where it was like, good thing I wasn't throwing Gangi under the bus, saying nothing bad about us, right? But all jokes aside, I thought it was just really cool. I mean, this is maybe like the fourth or fifth time that's happened, but like every time it happens, it's like wow, like we have such a reach to people who are like sitting and watching our videos, no matter how long or how short they are. And like the fact that like they're already in a space where he was like, oh yeah, I absolutely will be signing up for the academy. Like, I know you know your stuff, right? Which I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's I don't know. So I want to shout out Tear Talk, and just, some days I think when we're thinking like, oh my God, this takes time, it takes effort. Sometimes I'm tired. I'm trying to watch documentaries to stay up. It's not working.
Shack documentaries.
But the fact that like, here it is, we're reaching like all these folks in so many states who are actually using the videos to help sort of fill some of the training gaps, I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Connie, spot on, because even when I was in LA, the interactions, once you're done, people will come up to you, like, a good line of people. And not only do they maybe ask for an autograph or the book, whatever it is, but they tell you exactly what video and how timely it was. Yes. And that's pretty powerful, I think.
Yeah, the lady who called me from London, who she was like, you made that comment about being a woman. I was like, what? And like, I remembered the comment, but I'm like, holy crap. Like, is that what you remember? But she was like, that's the thing that resonated with me. And like, I think sometimes we may question, where is the value? And I think the value lies in that we never know how what we're saying is going to connect with the person watching, right? And where they are watching it from. Because, she went onto my website, she set up like a Zoom call with me, and I'm like, I'm like, what? Yeah. And it continues to be something that amazes me that, we have evolved into this resource that people are tapping into all the time. And I absolutely love it. So
yeah, me too. It's a series of impacts too. I looked at my Amazon, because you know how they, your book money, they tell you a couple of days in advance that the money's going into the account, and then a couple of days you get it. I noticed I had US, Canada, China, and UK. All four, because they do it for, there's different Amazons. So people are buying it from different countries. And that's what makes it worth it, because at the end of the day, if I don't care if it's one person, as we talked about before, it's the validation, knowing that someone finds the information useful. That's one thing, right? But then they share the information. So it's kind of like a Facebook thing, right? When you post up something on Facebook, the first thing you want is the like, then you want the comment, and then you want the share. Well, same thing here. I want someone to like my stuff, maybe comment. I would love to hear their thoughts, but then the moment they share it with somebody else, that's the bonus, man. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's get Joe on, because I think he's there you go, Joe. What's up, Joe? Enough about us bragging.
What's happening? Yeah, I see you bragging about China. Sensei Gangi.
Yes, Joe.
That's what they call me in China. Yeah. Hey, so Joe, you might. Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with what Joe just said. I'll have to delete that. I don't think we'll figure it out. Joe, you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Pomponio. I'm a retired lieutenant with TDCJ, Texas Department of Corrections. Also a former police officer with the Sheriff's Department, and an Army vet as well. Looking forward to tonight's discussion.
Yeah, us too. I think this is going to be a great dialogue. What I'm going to do first, guys, is I'm looking forward to watching the recruitment videos, to be honest with you. So we're going to kind of briefly go over what were some of the concerns in 2022. But to be honest with you, and we'll get to that, the one main concern is pretty much the foundation for every other subsequent concern. So before I go ahead and bring up the Corrections 1 article, which would show you the bar graph, mind you, Connie and Joe hasn't seen this yet, nor have we. We haven't seen the recruitment videos as well. So we're kind of being introduced to this at the same time. Connie, just fresh off your mind, if you had to think of one of the biggest concerns that corrections faced in 2022, what would you think be the biggest percentage?
I would think staffing. So staffing shortages from state to state, no matter who I talk to, they complain about the challenges of having staff and, keeping staff and not being able to take time off because there's no staff, right? And I think that's the big one for me in my mind.
Right. And then on a side note, would you also see that with the medical side as well?
So yes. So I think that it's harder. It's become very challenging, I think, to recruit mental health,
civilians in general too.
Civilians in general, it's been hard to recruit into corrections. Usually it is word of mouth, and someone giving someone else like it's okay, right? Like because there is so much unknown, and it's not necessarily something that you would say, oh yeah, are you gonna go work in corrections? I don't know of recruitment into schools for non-uniform staff. I have seen it happen for nursing. I have seen correctional nursing recruitment efforts, but I've not seen in other I guess professions within that world coming into corrections.
Yeah, and what's great about what you're saying, guys, just so you know, corrections across the country has been hit at every level. So again, I know a lot of us focus on custody, but there's also support parts of that too that also need help. I think our state is pretty much down 30% overall in almost every area. That seemed to have been the consistent number. So again, guys, and this is in New Jersey, guys, we pay good, compared to other states. So, definitely we're looking at fixing the culture, making it more inviting, and then basically just really trying to motivate people to find some level of service or inspiration to one, come into this profession, but probably more importantly, to stay in the profession. Hey, Joe, what was your original thoughts when we talked about concerns in 2022? What do you think was one of the biggest concerns?
My initial thought was the mandated overtime. Officers having to stay, if you're working a 12-hour shift, having to stay an extra 4 hours past, mandated to work your 4 days off. That's even more time that you're having to spend away from your family, especially during the holiday seasons. And, like you said, the staffing levels nationwide, we're at the, the most, most probably, that as far as staffing wise, more now than we've ever been historically nationwide. It's crazy. It's, I don't want to say it's an epidemic, but, and it makes it tougher because you got people that are still there carrying the loads of 3 and 4 other officers. And, that's tough to deal with as it is, and then you got the mandation overtime over, on top of everything else that you got going on. So I would definitely say mandated overtime would be up there.
Yeah. And I want to add something too, for the civilian sides. Maybe the food service, some of them could work 24 hours because you do have officers that do have to work overnights. Then you also have maintenance could be on site or as needed. But definitely we need numbers there. And also, as we said, our medical personnel, our mental health personnel, usually they have to be available on site as well. So, the stress of not knowing when you can go home, but also for those departments that don't get overtime but are still dealing with a heavy workload because they're just understaffed as it is. It really is a crazy time for corrections on all levels, because if we don't have enough staffing, the facility goes in survival mode, which means that not enough staffing, custody will go first. We don't have enough officers to maintain safety and security. Nothing goes out. So now we have these program providers who really they can't do anything because, with the facilities not in movement as it should be. So, it all has its areas of priorities. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately we do function as one. Now I want to show you, hopefully this doesn't mess up this time. I have faith in it. I want to show you the poll. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Sorry guys, I remember we had this issue last time. So let me show you this poll. Now, if you look at here, it says CO retention was number 1. That was 52%. CO recruitment was 28%. CO mental health was 8%. Physical safety on the job, 8%. Lack of public support, 5%. Now, real quick, Connie, I want to mention something. I like what they did here because if you think about it, Connie, the not having enough people, obviously everything else becomes a subsequent concern. Would you agree with that, Connie?
So the retention thing, what it makes me think about is, so one, you have folks who are eligible for retirement and who are making their way out, right? And of course, the recruitment side of that is, here's the succession plan, right? Because I'm just trying to think of it from a sort of high level. But then from the retention perspective, aside from those who are retiring, right? I'm thinking about those who we have recruited, who we have onboarded, but they're not staying, right? And so part of that impact of retention is, so what are we doing to ensure that people do stay? Like, what do those efforts look like, that now that we've gone through all this process to onboard people and people are kind of in there, when it gets tough, right? Like, what are we doing to lend support, right? Especially for those who aren't as committed just yet, right? Like, I've only been on the job 2 or 3 years. And now I'm at that point where it's like, I'm not going to stay till 5, or maybe will I stay till 5? Like, it's like, you can still play around with that. Not so much when you're already at your 10-year mark, right? But like, I'm just thinking there's probably that pool of individuals who haven't quite made it to that point of no return. And are we doing what we need to do to incentivize them to stay? And so the challenge with this retention is, yes, you have the retirements, but you also have that pool of individuals who haven't quite made it to that point where they're like, I'm just going to stay, where they probably could leave because of whatever the reason is, right?
Well, as you get closer to retiring and the date is there, you really do need, if you need to keep good senior staff, it takes a little bit more to motivate them, because again, for them, I did my time, so at this point, I'm ready to go. And I think a lot of times we spend a lot of our efforts focusing on recruitment, which I get it, because maybe that costs a little bit more money because you got to advertise and promote and get the message out to the community and really get some incentives. Like some places, they're trying to get some college connected to that. If you go to the academy, you get some credits. But either way, you cannot neglect the fact that you need to put some energy and some money into that retention as well. And be honest with you, we were talking about prior before we lost the recording on this. We were talking about where effort should be when it comes to retention versus recruitment. And I would like to see if there could be equal efforts at a minimal, but if there can't be equal efforts, I really do think you should spend more money on retention as opposed to recruitment, because at the end of the day is you still got to have an environment that these new boots can go into that relate to the core values of the profession and just a better understanding of the job. So you could get all the new people in, but if you don't have the old people that are there to break them into this profession, that's not really going to do well for the agency in the long run. And the also concern is you're not going to get real good consistency either, because I think when they're promoting stuff for recruitment, sometimes some agencies, and I don't know if we'll see that in the videos today, I'm curious, they'll promote out of desperation that corrections is a stepping stone to something bigger and better. So you're not even promoting this agency or this department as a career. You're promoting is that why don't you stop here for a second and go elsewhere? I mean, there's some people are like, well, you could, go to the academy, get some college credit, get a degree, and then go ahead and become a police officer. Like, what are you doing, guys? We're promoting a career here. What we got to do in those recruitment videos is promote something that highlights longevity, not stepping stone. If you guys have that in your recruitment video, and I'm hoping I don't see that in these top videos there that we're going to see later on, once you say stepping stone, the video means nothing to me now. If you're going to recruit this as a career, why are you going to make it feel like it's secondary to some other level of law enforcement when we're shooting for that equality? One thing about Jersey, guys, we're police officers. So, at the end of the day is we are at that level of recognition. More agencies should do that in their effort to bring people into this business than as opposed to telling them, well, you can come here first and then one day be a police officer. No, make this profession as equal. So when people come in, they get that status right away and they feel a level of value and appreciation, at least from the outside looking in. But Joe, what's your thoughts?
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
Can I just add that from a higher level, if we aren't retaining the experience, the knowledge, the know-how in the facilities, we are also looking at this tilt against experience, away from experience, and possibly having a population that's more knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the facility than we have staff who are even more knowledgeable or who can handle sort of the level of understanding that some of these inmates have of our institutions.
Oh, let's not gloss over that, Joe. Joe, before we get into the question about the retention versus recruitment, Joe, can you comment on that? Like, if we're not focusing our energy on the retention, Connie made a pretty good point there. These new boots are coming into the facility dealing with inmates that understand the running of the facility better than they do.
Absolutely. Convicts got nothing but 24/7 to view and watch everything that we do. They know more about our jobs than we do, when we first roll in, and I said it before in a previous episode, I was taught probably 80% of my job by a convict. But, I think the heavy emphasis should be placed on retention, and my perspective on it is that if we have a good retention practice in place, and, our people, our old hands are treated just as well as our new hands, and we retain them for any length of time, word will travel and recruitment will be automatic. We'll get the people without having to go out and ask for them because word will spread. And I know I'm sure other states do it just like we do. We have a paid academy here. We're paying them a monthly salary to go through, 6 to 8 weeks of training. And then, on top of that, for over a year, they were handing out a $5,000 bonus with no stipulations. So, a lot of these people were coming in, getting that $5,000 check and chucking that deuce and going. And like I told them, it's not about the external incentives. It's not about the money. If you treat your people well and you have a good retention practice in a facility, a good, positive, professional promoting atmosphere, you don't have to worry about recruiting.
Yeah.
Word will spread and those people will come.
That's powerful, Joe, because I do believe that, we have officers that are making really good money and it's still hard to get people in the profession. So it really is about the culture, because at the end of the day, the stuff that staff have to deal with, correctional officers, correctional staff, it goes beyond the money, because at the end of the day, even if you're making good money, it's going to be like, is this all worth it? And you're going to compare it to some external incentive, where I do believe you promote a good culture, a good cause, a good belief in the service to others, even if it's for us working together or if it's for us in our service to the population, depending on where that role is. That provides more value. That when you ask yourself, man, is this environment worth it? Yes, because you've connected yourself to it in a way that is healthy, but a way that gives you purpose. Now, when you look at this article, guys, let me just
add to Joe's point, though, word spreads good and bad. So to your point about culture, we have to make sure we have a culture that when the word is spreading, it's positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's the key. And I think right now, for a lot of agencies, in their effort to promote, you have to realize something. You're going to invest all this money in recruitment, but then when people come into the facility, it's not the world you told them it was. And I don't mean they expect some level of concerns with the inmates. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the management, the peers, So again, we have to make sure we're correct before we go ahead and push an image that we feel is an honest perspective, because the people that are coming in are looking to feel like a family, are looking to feel like they're in an environment they can trust, but they do expect that's not going to be roses either, because they got the inmate population. But the last concern they want to have is bad management and just maybe disenfranchised peers. So again, before we promote a video that's promoting a great culture and all this other stuff, we got to go back and clean that up a little bit, because if we don't, these new people are going to come in for a day and say, I'm not beat. I expected it from this side, but not from this side. I'm out, and they'll find their service somewhere else. Now, I want to show you guys. Let me just go ahead and put this in here. Add this. Okay. Now, this article really only focuses on, even though it's the top five, top five. The article really focuses on the need for retention and recruitment, because again, I think that is the base concern. Because if you don't have enough staffing, think about it: the mandated overtime, the fact that I don't feel safe working in this facility. It all kind of trickles down from there. But just to mention, obviously, these other concerns: mental health, physical safety, lack of support. That could be the management side of things, which actually was a lot lower than I thought it would be if it was strictly a managerial gripe. I actually expected that to be a little bit higher, because usually that tends to be the go-to excuse when someone finds misery in this profession. They usually blame management right away. But having said that, to see that number is not that high, it was a little bit of a shock for me. But I also understand, because I don't think it's always that problem. I think we just become that reason to blame. But I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I think it's just a matter of us understanding each other's perspective. But with that said, the biggest concerns definitely are going to be dealing with recruitment and retention. I say retention definitely makes sense that it's the highest level, and then recruitment being secondary. And we've done shows before, guys, on definitely mental health, multiple topics on that. And I don't think that's just a 2022 concern. I think that's a concern that's been in the mix for a while. Again, the stress and anxiety of the environment. But what could ease that way is if we are retaining and recruiting people and getting people there so we can feel a little bit more safer. Now, what I would like to do right now is start playing some of those videos, of these recruitment videos, and then give some insight of, we could rate them from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. And guys, if you're commenting, please add to this as well, 1 to 10, what you feel. And then we're going to kind of break it down. Some videos could be perfect. We haven't seen these yet at all. So we're not going to provide insight of videos already where it needs to be. But if there's something we don't like, we'll give our input. And I think this is going to be fun. Let me see how many videos there are. Bear with me, guys. I don't know how many videos there are. Hold on. Let me see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So real quick, just right here, year in review. It's no secret the biggest challenging facing our nation's jails and prisons understaffing. Throughout 2022, correctional facilities went to great lengths to attract new correctional officers. We compiled the best correctional officer recruitment videos of the year, including one international candidate. Which video do you think should take the top spot? Now, guys, real quick, this is from Corrections 1. If you guys feel there's another better video, send it to us because I only have it from here. So let's go to this first video. This first video comes from Douglas County. And underneath it, just in the caption real quick, it says, we have an opportunity at the front end of the criminal justice system to really impact people's lives. He said front end of the criminal justice system. That is the message at the forefront of this recruitment video for Douglas County Corrections, which emphasizes the importance of inmate rehabilitation and improving community safety, as well as the role of technology and training and developing a CO's career. I'm assuming what he means by front end is maybe the beginning of rehabilitation. What's your thoughts on that real quick, Connie, out of curiosity? That was weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's looking at corrections as the beginning of the journey, right? Like, I mean, I'm not really sure how to interpret that.
Yeah, I thought that was, let me just.
Either the beginning of the journey towards rehabilitation, or it's like, you know, you're serving your time, so corrections is where it begins, but then there's a still, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty unique.
That was an interesting wording, but.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the video, guys. So this is the first video. It's coming from Douglas County. So I'm going to mute myself and enlarge the screen.
I wanted to go. Started.
Corrections can be a calling, and it's very rewarding. We have an opportunity kind of at the front end of the criminal justice system to really impact people's lives, not just by keeping them safe and respecting their rights while they're in our facility. We make an impact on the community. When we help turn somebody's life around, we make the community safer. So we're looking for people who have passion to do the right thing, the passion for public service, the passion for making their community better. That's what we're looking for in a correctional officer.
We need somebody that's actually dedicated, wants to work, and wants to stick around. And I think when we have that, we can provide the rest of the tools necessary to do the job.
At the time, I was in college. I was nursing pre-med, and I decided that wasn't the route I wanted to go. Started school for criminal justice and figured that this was a good way to kind of get my foot in the door and apply what I was learning in school, and been here ever since.
Originally, I was working security, but I wanted more experience because I want to get into law enforcement. I really like it here. My class is really supportive and really nice.
It's all in class first, and then you have the field training. When I started, there was direct supervision, defensive tactics, CPR, the basic stuff. Since then, we've added mental health first aid, OC, as well as more of the defensive tactics to better prepare staff for what they're going to endure.
So we have a lot of different tools and tactics that we use to control violent situations in the jail. Both physical tactics ranging from pressure point control tactics to Gracie survival tactics, which is based on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That motivation and that drive is the number one thing I need to see in a recruit for my team. All the other stuff, we can give them over time.
We purchased an Apex Officer Training Simulator for virtual reality training. We can put people into the training simulator and let them feel hypervigilance, a real event unfolding like it's really happening when it really isn't happening. It's very beneficial for the training department because we can really put them into dangerous situations without them being in danger. There is nothing that compares other than being in a real life situation. It looks exactly like what they are going to experience when they're in our new housing units or inside our admissions or booking department.
when I first started, I was very nervous, didn't know what I was getting myself into. But once I started to work more and be in more housing units and have more like roles here on the job, it became somewhat easier. So by the time you hit the floor, you should be ready to go and know a lot. It's just everything goes with time from that point on. So you have to be willing to learn, willing to listen, and willing to apply everything that's been taught to you.
It's not just a job, but it is a career, and it provides a lot for you and for your family.
So there are so many benefits here that people don't even realize. We have tuition reimbursement, which for someone being in school, that's huge for me. They are real big on making sure you have your family time or your vacation. We also have a pension. Everybody's 401k this, 401k that. No, we are a pension.
It offers great pay, great benefits, retirement. It will give you the opportunity to succeed in your personal life as well as your career here.
I'm really excited about starting this career. This is a great environment. Everyone's very supportive. I've done a lot of things that I didn't think I could get through. Made a lot of good friends. I mean, making it through, I just feel like I got stronger. My name's Officer Martin, and I feel ready for this job.
All right. All right. Want me to go first? I mean, let's do our well. Let's go with Joe first, then we'll go with Connie. But give your number from 1 to 10 at the end. So, Joe, what was your thoughts of that video?
I'd give it a 7.
Really?
The only thing I really didn't like was the fact that the captain made the comment about people who are actually going to come to work and stick around. I thought that was kind of unprofessional, but the rest of the video seemed pretty good to me as far as a recruiting video.
That's a good perspective. I didn't even think of it like that. I just thought maybe it advertised a little bit of the need to get some commitment. But I guess that's really dependent on a perspective, because believe it or not, I was going to give this video a 10.
It's just the way he said it. I think it is.
Yeah, it's kind of the way he said it. You know, it was kind of nonchalant, just kind of, well, yeah, you know, we want people who are just gonna actually come to work and stick around, and you know, I was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
we're also looking at it through seasoned lenses.
Disgruntled eyes, Joe.
Not disgruntled eyes.
I'm retired. What the hell do I got to be disgruntled about?
Through seasoned lenses. I mean, I thought that it was pretty decent. I guess I would give it more like an 8. I mean, I felt like it focused more on like the safety, security, the tactical side. And I feel like there's a lot of mental agility that you need to have as an officer, right? To be able to figure out if someone's manipulating or like this. I think there's a piece of it that could be added. Not that the video wasn't good, but I think there needs to be just some way to address something that's not as tactical, more of like, here's the soft skills that you need to also bring to the table.
I like that. I mean, I get what you're saying. I saw a bit of them telling about, you know, the soft skills, because the first gentleman that he spoke about a good balance of what they're expecting. I like how he put public safety, but he also put, like, you know, basically what's expected of them when dealing with the inmate population, a level of professionalism. The reason why I gave it a 10, and by the way, I'm not connected to Douglas in any way, even though the videos are sponsored by Douglas County. No, I'm kidding. I thought that it hit all elements of, you know, promoting the profession to this newer generation. I love when the one guy emphasized that it's a career, because believe it or not, we have a lot of people on the opposite are saying it's a stepping stone. So he made sure it's a career. I love the girl Haley that tells her story, and I think I met her when I was out in LA, but don't quote me on that. But she looks very familiar. If you're watching this video, confirm, because I could have swore we saw each other at one point. She looks very familiar. But I like how she said that when she came in, she had her aspirations to do something else, but then she realized that this profession has a lot to offer, and she stayed. And that hit home with me, because I know there's a lot of people that are doing that, and then they realize, like, hey, you know what? Because here's the sad thing, guys. Sometimes if you keep your mind closed and you go in with just like, I'm going to go do this only temporary, then you don't see what this profession has to offer. Haley came in with an open mind and saw that the profession offered a lot of things and wind up staying. One thing I didn't like, but I'm still giving the video a 10, is the one girl said that this would be maybe a great chance to one day get into law enforcement. Of course, I caught on to that, and I do believe corrections should be law enforcement, should be seen as such, but I don't think she said that purposefully. I just think that's something that is still a constant debate. But I enjoyed the video. I like the fact that they promote it as a career, not a stepping stone. I like the fact that they showed a softer side and then the tactical side to bring all members aligned or people with different reasons to get into this profession. Because by the way, guys, when it comes to being a CO, there could be so many perspectives or purposes that people may have. You could have people that real focus on the tactical side and people that maybe want to make a difference in that capacity on a softer side. But either way, I thought this video was well done and emphasized being a career, and it really did show a good family. Now, imagine real quick if after watching this video, you go into the profession and you don't see that. Now, how quick do you leave the profession? So I want people to realize, do not put that video out unless you can guarantee that's the environment people are going into. Just saying, because that to me was I'm ready to go over there, cook some meals, and hang out with the family. So I'm still giving it a 10. I enjoyed the video. I know you guys are a little bit, critical on that. I get what Joe was saying and kind of, but I enjoyed that video. I really did. And that's the first time I saw it. So
I'm still trying to get over the virtual reality training, man. That's some high tech shit right there.
I thought that was cool.
That's not even on. Okay, so you know what? That's another avenue because that shows the evolution there. I mean, the technology that they're trying to get people more prepared, and what a great way to supplement.
That shows the willingness to invest.
Yes,
in training, folks having training.
And I don't know. I have Oculus Quest, but it looks like they were running a Hive. It looks like I think that VR was a Hive, maybe. Quote me. I've seen it from the joystick, but if you guys know what that was. But that game's available for download. Let me know if it's multiplayer. Let's run that unit together. Hey Joe, we could me, you, and Connie could run a tier. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Imagine, and guys, want to hear something funny? Imagine it's open for the public to see, and then you guys could actually really see our skill. You wouldn't watch the channel anymore. We talk big game, but we, but no, I'm kidding. I mean, I'll give it a shot. I don't know how they score you, but if I don't do good, I'm not going to air it. I'm just kidding. Hold on. Let me get the next video. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right. Video number 2. Okay. I'm going to mute myself. Bear with me. Actually, let me introduce the video real quick before we do that. So this video comes from San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. Kind of the main quote here is the importance of family and showing the human side of correctional officers' powers. The emotions behind this recruitment video from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so this is coming from LinkedIn, actually. All right, so let me mute myself real quick.
As a father, I want to be the best dad that I can be. I want to be the ultimate provider for my children. I want them to know that they can come to me for any and everything. I wanted to do something that was meaningful, not only to myself, my community, as well as my family. I wanted to be an example to others, someone that they could look up to and have a strong example of what it looks like to be in law enforcement. I would say what separates us is the fact that we're a family. There was a time in my life where they were there for not only me as a person, but me as a friend. The sheriff office has made a definite impact on my life. Coming from no law enforcement background to joining the sheriff's office, I was able to see things in a different manner outside of what's shown on TV. It gave me an outlook on things to where If you want to change something, be a part of the change. San Joaquin Sheriff Office gives you that opportunity to be a part of that change. As a
All right, my mind is blown. Let's go with Connie first, but my mind is blown. All right, Connie, this is insane. Connie, your thoughts on that one?
I don't know. That was a very rosy video. I don't know. Like, I appreciate the family focus sort of, we support you. I mean, I felt very warm and fluffy watching it, but like it didn't give me like a law enforcement correctional feel at all. It kind of just gave me like, we're a family, and you know, I appreciate the getting purpose and not having law enforcement background and being able to kind of jump in and learn. But I think the how was missing for me. Like, this is a nice picture that we're presenting to the public, but how did we get there?
Right. So I think for this one, this was more about the human connection.
Mhm.
You know, so basically, I like what they did there. At that point, they basically went from the human side of things and brought you into the profession from that perspective, which is very unique. I have not seen that done in any video before. So they got personal with the person in the job, and then they introduced you to the job. So basically, you're building a connection through the profession by the individual in the video. Having said that, am I 100% fan of that? I get it. I get the reason why. But Joe, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great personal perspective into, you know, his life change from where he was to where he is now, and you know how he obtained it. But I think there probably should have been a little more emphasis on the agency itself and what it has to offer besides, you know, a chance at a career. I think he should have entailed maybe a little bit more. I mean, it was a great personal perspective, like Gandhi said. You know, it was all warm and fuzzy hugs and roses, and you know, it was a great personal attribute as far as his perspective on the agency. But I think there should have been more perspective on the agency's perspective of the agency and what they have to offer to everybody.
All right, so I agree. So this video is really focused on the why, because you're going to have younger people in this profession that are looking for that reason and purpose. And I believe when they put this together, that's the audience that they're trying to target, because I think that people coming into this profession look for meaning and value. I'm actually going to give this video a high 9, and only because
I think to your point though, if the audience is like a younger individual,
that's
right,
what it
like
is.
it kind of gives you the perspective that you can still have a family.
Yes.
Right. Because a lot of times when you go into, you know, corrections, law enforcement, any level of law enforcement, there's this feeling that you got to make a choice, not necessarily that you can have one without the other, you know?
Yeah, so I think that the issue here, why there's a bit of a conflict, is because I think that they're promoting a purposeful career, which I get it. I think we need it. That's why I'm giving it a high 9, because I think that's something that's going to get the younger people who are looking for purpose in their career and meaning. But I also don't want a commercial that doesn't emphasize the realities of the profession as well. I wasn't feeling that as much, even though it was a purpose-driven commercial, and I get it, the chance to make change and all this other stuff. I still felt it drifted a little bit from the realities of working in corrections and what you're going to have to go through to even make that change in purpose. But the reason why I'm giving it a high 9 is I know why they did it that way. I do. The younger audience is looking, or the younger individuals now that they're looking to get into this profession are very purpose driven. And they're looking for meaning behind the work they do. I just wish it could have been supplemented a little more with the realities to show the balance, because you're not just going to be able to walk in with the first thing on your mind, you're going to go change lives, because that's, there's a lot of other obstacles in the middle of that. But in the process, could that be an outcome of the profession? 100%. But you got to make sure that you get through the other obstacles. So I think there could have been a way they balanced it. I think Douglas, the first video we saw, actually did that very well. And that's why I think they got a 10, because they balanced something for the younger people with the purpose-driven stuff, but they didn't separate them from the reality of the profession. But the reason why I also want to give this video that high 9 is they were unique in their perspective by trying, let me try this family side first and see if I can get them to connect to this person. Because if I was the public and I was watching this, so again, if the audience also, let's say this goes on a public platform and you have the people from the public looking at, what type of people work in this profession. I think that's a good video to promote that. So if you were in the public and you were questioning who we are behind the wall, like what type of individuals work there, that's a great softer video that shows the humanity behind the profession, the humanizing the badge, if you will. And the guy represented law enforcement 100% right from the beginning of that video. But again, there's some shift in reality. But if this video was strictly focused on a different view for the public to have, this video will be a 20 in my book.
Yeah, because also I think the imagery of the officers going into the kid's birthday party wearing the crowns or what have you, I think that also sends sort of the
family
message
vibe.
So the family vibe, but also even the kids aren't afraid, right? Like we're like, yes, they're gonna be able to go in and do their job, but the balance to that is we also can go and be a part of the family and not be intimidating or scary or what have you. So it was almost just normalizing the profession, which I think, it's good, but I also feel like there was a need for some balance about the realities of the job.
Right. I love what you're saying, Connie. Normalizing it from the outside, from the public looking in, if they want to question who we are and what we do. But if you're going to look to recruit people into the realities of this profession, maybe a little bit more of a balanced picture. Joe, anything closing before we get to the next video on that?
No, same thing. I mean, the video was a great visual experience, but I think it could have used a little more balancing as far as what the actual perspectives of the job entails.
Yeah, I actually thought that was still a unique video. All right, so let's get to the next video. Hold on. All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute it.
Join DelawareDOC.com.
Just read something real quick. So this obviously came from Delaware. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in this video, images of correctional officers at work demonstrate the career opportunities at a Delaware Department of Corrections. Okay, so let me get us back. Let's go with Joe first. Okay, Joe, what do you got?
Well, I think it was a more well-rounded perspective into more opportunities within the profession. Show different aspects. Not a lot of verbal cues there. My first reaction was, holy shit, who brings weapons inside their facility? That kind of threw me off, almost made my crooked eye go straight.
Hold Hold on. Wait, guys, I got to watch the video again. It's a short one. Hold on, Joe, because I didn't catch that. Guys, bear with me, guys.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we're correct on that. Hold on. Maybe that's the intake area. Maybe that's the intake area. All right. So
Joe said,
Nope.
All right. So good. So yeah. So what else you got, Joe? So you what's your thoughts fully now? So I just wanted to check that.
I mean, it was a great perspective, and it showed your intake, showed your mobile patrol officer, showed your outside picket, showed your dog kennel squad, or your dog pack, and the different aspects of the job. Just as kind of totally opposite from the last video. Not a whole lot of personal perspective as what can this job do for you as a person.
Yeah, so Joe, real quick, 1 to 10.
About a 6.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you, Joe. I'll go before Connie, if you don't mind, Connie. I just want to get something out. I'm going to give it a 5. The reason why is let me just go first. I love the fact that they're pride. I definitely saw pride in that video, and Delaware is awesome. I mean, I get a chance to go out there a few times. I love their staff. They're very supportive of what we do on Tier Talk. I'm very supportive of them. They went through a horrible loss in 2017, and I saw that in the background. Lieutenant Floyd, or Sergeant Floyd at the time, but Lieutenant Floyd posthumously when he had passed, when he was taken from us. The only thing that that's making the score so low is, first off, I love that element, and that's one half of the video that got a perfect 5. It's like scoring a perfect on the math side of the SATs, but we still got the verbal. I didn't see a personalized connection. All I saw is the harder side of the profession. And I think that's great. I mean, you're going to get some people that are ready to step up for that. I think that is important, but it didn't show where corrections is evolving into. There's another side that wasn't represented, and that falls into meaning and the purpose side of it all. So I don't think it was balanced. I think that it was just more about the safety and security side, which is definitely needed. I'm not denying that. But now correction has evolved, and we're bringing in another type of skills that we have to have to complement the safety and security side. So my biggest concern is you're going to get that one set of people that are going to want this profession, but you haven't brought anything in for the other side that can also balance it, especially when it comes to like Joe said, the purpose and meaning, the connection.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was more tactical than it was rehabilitative. So.
Yeah, I didn't see the balance. Yeah, that's maybe the better way of putting it. And guys, for those that get it, I only want the tactical side. Guys, I get it, but it's not where the profession's headed right now. We have to kind of go with the times. So there's got to be a balance in that promotion. So again, I didn't feel it was balanced, but definitely just from a tactical perspective, it was a 5. That side was perfect. I mean, you couldn't even make a greater video. The badge, the pride, and obviously that department is full of heroes. I just didn't sense the other side, which would complement. Not like I saw in the other videos. I guess I could say maybe there wasn't enough context. But go ahead, Connie, what's your thoughts? I'm curious.
So I think that was like all I mean, we saw it. It was all tactical. I do have to agree with you guys on that one. I think it was well-rounded tactical, right? Being able to show the canines, showing sort of community corrections, showing, training, showing like all the aspects of corrections for them, showing transport. Like I felt like that was well done. I think it does leave you wanting so what's the purpose, what are the benefits, where's the opportunity, like where's the growth, like where's the perspective of the people as opposed to just being the focus on the job itself.
Yeah, and guys, as I said, I mean, I do like the fact, like Joe mentioned, you kind of saw the different avenues, so you saw potential in a career. So they definitely highlighted that by the different departments. But again, the meaning or the purpose. I mean, I guess for some, they may see it in that safety side of things, but I still think the professional officer a little bit more than just that side. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, you got to look at the total outcome. Our main focus is to rehabilitate the offender and promote a positive change before we let them go back out into society. Yeah. And with that, you didn't see any side of that.
Yeah. And as I said, it's definitely a good video from that one perspective. I just don't feel it was balanced. But again, still a very strong message in regard to being proud in this great profession. So they definitely represented officers well. Probably the best I've seen in the videos so far, 100%. But just didn't get that other side of it all. Okay, so let's get to this next video. We got 2 more left. And guys, don't hate us. Just want to get it out there. Don't hate us. All right, hold on one second. Let's see. So this one's coming from, we did Delaware. This one's coming from New Zealand. It's a quicker video, 45 seconds it looks like. New Zealand police have long been known for their emotionally powerful police recruitment videos, and this latest video aimed at correctional officers is another award-worthy creation. I love the fact that they put both police and corrections in the same element. It shows a respect to law enforcement because police are not the only entities that are in the law enforcement circle. All right, so let me go ahead and show this video.
Steve, Ryan, Steve. So, what do you do? Oh, help people. We all help people, mate. What do you really do? Let me explain. Imagine you've made some bad choices and everything has been lost. Your freedom, your kids, your world. You're worried about your wife. You're angry and frustrated, raging. But we're there to make sure that you're safe and to help you find a way forward. What about you? What do you do? Well, banking.
And I'll go with Connie first. I'll just say, from my opinion, I don't think that's a recruitment video, but I think that's more of a message. But let's go with Connie first. What's your thoughts, Connie? Oh, wait, Connie, the last video, Delaware, what did you rate it, 1 to 10?
I said I was around with you guys between 5 and 6.
All right. So, okay. So, go ahead. Sorry about that. This video. So
this one, to me, it felt like just a quick sound bite that was giving someone was able to tell a story, right, in a way that you could imagine purpose and you could imagine what you would do. And I don't know that I would say that this was a recruitment video. This could be maybe more like some motivational or something to give you insight. Like maybe you're thinking about it and here's someone to give you their perspective on the importance of their job or the value that they add, but through a story. So, I mean, from a what would I rate it? I think if it was just something to kind of give like a teaser or like here's some quick insight to corrections, I would say somewhere around a 7 or a 6. But it doesn't give you like any insight into like what you would be doing, right? Like I think it was a good story, a good way to tell the story.
Yeah, so from the insight, that's supposed to be a recruitment video. Guys, I'm giving it a 2. I'm sorry. And by the way, this is no disrespect to anybody. Bear with me. I don't think there was enough context in that video. I think it was very inmate perspective. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to push his purpose through that, but I didn't get that at all. I got more about the inmate's perspective. And I get it. But for a recruitment video, it's more about our perspective in relationship to that. But it should come from our perspective first and then cross into how our perspective affects that perspective. I felt it was totally reversed. I felt that the perspective was from the inmate's perspective and then to where we fit in. And definitely to me, no expression of the reality of the job. It just wasn't balanced enough. And I don't want to get anybody mad. But if I watch that video, I'm not going to be pumped at all. If we're looking at it from the insight from a recruitment video. Now, mind you, if we were again looking at a video for the public, and this is an argument, and we want to voice our perspective, I would give it a 7. I still wouldn't give it a 10. I'd give it a 7. But I got to give this video a 2. I'm sorry. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't feeling it as a recruitment video. I don't see many people jumping up because we did the one video which was very tactical. This video was a whole nother level of the softer side, and I just don't feel it was balanced. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even think that this would bring in the softer side because there's no context.
I was going to say, I don't even think that's a softer side.
Yeah, because someone just comes up to a barbecue and just says this, and then you're expected to understand that without no context of how you as a correctional officer are the influence on that environment, more of just what this inmate's perspective is, even though he's not an inmate, it's coming from their perspective. And I just think it missed out on our importance outside of that range. Go ahead, Joe. That's a tough one. Let's do your rating first, Joe. Did I go too low?
No, I was going to say about a 2. This video probably should have been a video that was in a reintegration class for an offender audience. I think it was more inmate driven than anything. Just first perspective when it went to his uniform, I thought he was a mailman. And then when he started that serious note, about what does he do? Well, just imagine we take you away from your family.
Right, Joe. You that's what I'm talking about. As soon as he answered the question, he didn't answer it from a staff's perspective. He answered it. Yeah. And who goes to a party dressed like that? Are you allowed to dress like that in New Zealand? Like you just wear partial? I don't know. Is that uniform? What was that?
That's what I'm saying. I thought he was going to go stick mail in a mailbox or something. And then he went into that serious tone, and then at the end of it, he just snaps out of it like he was catatonic in another world. And there was just. Man, I think, and I'm sorry, it was just jacked up.
Well, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the stats. That video brought in 100,000 recruitments. I'm kidding.
Well,
I don't have the numbers, guys. I'm joking. I don't know.
To me, I think it probably should have been shown to an offender population on intake, so they know that the staff's not there to hurt them; they're there to help them.
I actually like that a lot.
You know what I mean? I think it would make a good reintegration video, for offenders either coming in or fixing to get released. But past that, I don't see me. I don't see me jumping off of my couch and putting down my Cheetos to go run and get into that uniform. I'm just saying.
Connie, I saw you react to something that Joe said, a little subtle, but when he said he saw that kind of being shown to the offender population about. A different perspective of what we do. What was your thoughts when he said that?
Actually, I was like, wow, that's a good idea. Like
thought so
that,
too.
I could see that being run on a screen and intake, like sort of on a loop, right? Like, because I think it's the messaging that you want the inmate to come away from, right? It's almost like you want the inmate to recognize that, like, our intention is like to change your life, right? And like it's just like a very interesting. I wonder what the intention was behind the video.
I think they're trying to deal with the argument that, you know, we are more than what people think. I just don't think it was expressed well. And it was funny, guys, just out of curiosity, imagine going to a barbecue and the person comes to you and says, what do you do? Imagine being locked in. And the guy goes, dude, I was locked up for 25 years. You fucking imagine. You know, I mean, just imagine, you know, what about that was a former fucking inmate? You know what I mean? That whole monologue is shot to shit. You know what I mean? Your whole moment's gone.
It's a barbecue. That's such a serious conversation at a barbecue.
Yeah, that's another good point too.
Just the context of it too. It's like, where are we? Like, is it a corrections barbecue?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't see that. Like, dude, I wanted to know, you want steak or chicken? I mean, whatever
yeah,
the hell.
like what where are we that this conversation, like, you know, the backdrop? I mean, and we could probably be over.
Yeah, there was no context, but as I said, it's not something that motivated me. And if you look at it from the other context, number 1 and 2 actually motivated me, guys. I'm being honest with you. The first 2 videos we saw motivate.
Anything. That one didn't make me think, yeah, I want to get this job. It didn't make me think I'm more interested. Like, I didn't have any questions. Right, because there was no information communicated for me to like wonder about.
Yeah, and I want to mention something. The Delaware video, there was a part of me that was motivated to that. I want you guys to know that. The people that I know we gave it a 5, whatever it is, but I was motivated. There's part of that, but I'm also been in the profession a little bit longer. I'm at a higher level and looking down now from that level and what's expected. I have a bit of a biased perspective as to, I don't think it was balanced, because I think there's more to this profession than just that one side, and that's really the stereotype that we're trying to avoid.
I think for me it was the first one, the Douglas. I think I
liked. As I said, I the first 2 to me were the top so far. You know, and then Joe, you had a thought before we go to the last video?
Yeah, I lost it. The squirrel don't run off.
Oh, okay. Well, if you catch it, just, you know.
Yeah, on there, it's gone. Squirrels don't.
All right, so let me get this last one in. Hold on. So this last one is coming from Niagara County. The professionalism and dedication of officers are the focus of this recruitment video for the Niagara County Sheriff's Office, which is committed to making lives better, both for correctional officers and those entrusted in their care. I do like that statement right there, because you have the correctional officers first, you have the inmates after, but it does show that level of responsibility we have over those that are incarcerated. So let me go ahead and mute myself.
Hi, welcome to the Niagara County Correctional Facility. I'd like to take this opportunity to show you some of the things that we have to offer if you decide to come join our team.
You should work at the Niagara County Correctional Facility because we care about our employees. We work with them, develop them, and train them to succeed.
To me, this job has become a career with a purpose. I'm dedicated to the safety of my coworkers, the inmates, and the community. I know what we do here every day has a positive impact on those around us, and I'm proud of the work that we do.
I'm very fortunate to work with some of the most professional officers who have been employed by the Niagara County Sheriff's Office. Over the years, I've been part of multiple teams that include certain CIT, which has allowed me to develop diverse skill sets in order to do my job.
As a correction officer, we have the responsibility of keeping our community safe. We take pride in what we do, and we try to transform lives here for the better. That goes for us and even the incarcerated.
Working at the Niagara County Jail is not like you see on TV or in the movies. Our job is to ensure the safety of the facility, our fellow officers, and the people that are entrusted in our care while serving their time.
When coming to work for the Niagara County Sheriff's Office, your career will only be limited by yourself. There are many opportunities to advance, and the only person that can hold you back is you.
All right. Let's go with would it be Joe first this time? All right, Joe, what do you got?
Give this one a solid 9. This was a well-rounded video. Gave the personal perspective, showed it didn't really put much emphasis verbally on the tactical perspective, but definitely reached out and gave that personal touch about, the only thing holding you back is you. Gave a well-rounded description of, a generalized description of everyday in corrections. So definitely enjoyed that video. I think that was probably the best out of them all.
Connie, would love your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually feel the same way. I thought that was like a really good one. It was well-rounded. It was still serious, even though it was personal, and it did give, insights into the job as well as what people took away from it, right? Having that purpose and all of that. I thought that was well done.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. I felt that video was extremely balanced. You had the tactical side definitely showcasing the officer's responsibility, a lot of pride in there, a lot of just good showmanship from our staff, the professional side of it all. But I also like the fact that you had the officers that kind of gave a little bit of a testimony of purpose, and especially the young female who talked about the safety of staff, inmates, making an impact, whatever, having a change. Yeah, that's one of the more balanced videos, which I love that your focus is on this tactical side. But then when you communicate, there's meaning, purpose, and then there's the that responsibility over that inmate population. Definitely a great video from Niagara County, and it's short and to the point. I mean, let's not. I enjoyed that. At first, when I saw the video, I was like, "Oh, we have another Delaware County thing," but we didn't. They went right into those testimonies. And then one thing, if I can give some advice, I guess, as we close it off, if we all could just give some advice on what we think would be a good add-on for recruitment videos. I love the testimonials, brief and whatever it is about purpose, change in the background of something that shows the tactical side of it all, but again, still highlighting the purpose of this profession and the impact. I think that's a well balanced video for today's officers or for today's people coming in, because it does show you a little bit of reality mixed in with a higher level purpose. So bravo on the Niagara County video. And I'm also going to say the Douglas, if it's Douglas County, I still believe that was a high 10. I enjoyed that video. Connie, what any last thoughts about from the videos you saw? Just maybe some ideas. If you were putting a recruitment video together, what would you like to see?
I mean, I think one aspect that I didn't necessarily see in any of them was like something that spoke to your personal safety, right? Because I feel like some people are usually a little nervous or can be afraid or intimidated by the thought of not being safe. And I think, yes, all the training should kind of give you some comfort, but I think some direct speaking to the person who would be afraid to even apply. And I don't know how they would articulate that in a way that's most effective. But I think that when we address issues that we know may be of concern in advance, it kind of helps neutralize those concerns and sort of allows people to go ahead and apply, because personal safety is always a thing. And I guess for me, it's like, well, how do you make sure that people know that they will be safe in this environment, aside from like showing the different training avenues that help you stay safe? I think there's a way that we can highlight that in a video so that we can take like personal, because all that aside, right, I could learn the job.
Right.
But if I'm scared, right? Like you haven't necessarily done anything to address the fact that I might be a little afraid. I think there was only one person that said they had no law enforcement experience.
That was the second one.
Right. I think it was the second one.
The sheriff's department.
Yeah, he had no law enforcement experience, which I was like, oh, that's a good thing, because now you have people who aren't thinking I have to already have that experience to walk in and be safe and effective and all that. This is someone who said I had no experience and I'm still having a good experience in the job.
Yeah, and I did like how Douglas County and Niagara County was very diverse in their staff. Some female speaking, some males, different ethnicities. I enjoyed that. And also on another note, I know I look at the first video and the second video as the first video, second video where it's personal to guy at home, whatever it is, and the video from Delaware, they're kind of extremes. If you could connect them, and I believe it or not, I thought the video from Niagara County connected that to some extent because it did get personal when they talked to the woman. There was something personal about her connection, and basically in the background you have the tactical side. I found that again just but very well done. I don't mean to repeat myself, but it was just very well done. And Joe, what you had to give advice?
Yeah, I mean, I thought all the videos were very, purpose driven as far as, correctional officers. The one thing I probably would like to see as far as recruiting video is, a more well-rounded penal facility video where it includes, your medical department, your classification, your counseling, parole, reintegration, whatever. Just shows the different jobs within the correctional facility, because, and as well as I do, some people come in not really sure if they want to be a correctional officer or not.
Right.
But, if they decide that they don't, at least then the video gives a glimpse of the other jobs that are available within a correctional facility that may be more suitable for you.
I think
that's
otherwise, I think the last video and then the one from what was that, Douglas County?
Douglas County, the first.
Okay, yeah. If you were to connect those two videos together, I think that would have been probably the perfect recruitment video.
Yeah, and I love what you said, Joe, about showing the different, because civilians obviously understaffed at a lot of facilities as well. Because I think the good thing about that is it shows where we want a facility to be. I think that when we go to just the custody side of it all, it only shows the survival mode. Let's get that first because we can't run a facility without that. I get that. But once we get to that point, we still have other areas. So why not find a way to show a completed house? Because I think those interactions with those other departments can add to that other side of things. Maybe they're doing separate videos. I don't know.
And I think a video of that nature showing all the departments within a correctional facility, kind of promotes a positive teamwork image right up front.
Yeah, it's a true picture of a united family that's not isolated by departments.
Absolutely.
Okay, Joe, you have anything you'd like to say in closing? I'm actually going to change the title of this video to "We Break Down Some Recruitment Videos." Joe, you got anything you'd like to say in closing?
Yeah, I mean, not every recruitment tactic is going to be perfect. When you're looking to recruit, keep your purpose in mind. Be driven as to why you want these people to come to you. Be truthful in your videos. I can honestly say that when I signed up 30 years ago, it was because I was watching all these episodes on A&E, these high max facilities, high technology, kind of facilities, and my first unit of assignment was built in 1893. The bricks were falling out of the walls. It was a red brick wrought iron facility with hand crank doors, and my first thought was, what the hell did I do? And ultimately I'm glad I stuck with it because it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. But I think in order to have a successful recruitment video, you have to be truthful. Don't just show the bed of roses. Be forthcoming with actual, penitentiary experience, and make sure you include all your departments because, without the teamwork of medical, classification, reintegration, we're just one part of it. There's a whole lot more to that family atmosphere.
Yeah, and I do like how the first video, the first one, and I think most of them try to highlight this, but they basically emphasized that this was a career. I love how that one woman came in wanting to do something else, and she focused with open mind, and she wound up making this a career. So I love that the videos are not using corrections as a stepping stone. So that was actually pretty cool. And I think, to be honest with you, the video from Delaware, when they promoted that tactical side, I think they're also trying to emphasize the fact that we aren't a stepping stone, that we are equal to other law enforcement agencies. So again, represented that one half perfectly well. We just didn't get the other half. Connie, what's your thoughts in closing?
I think so. Marketing, there's so many different strategies for marketing, right? And so, regardless of your strategy, if you identify your target population, I think you just want to be certain of your messaging, right? What message am I trying to portray? What do I want people to walk away from? And, not everyone's going to come with the lenses of, I don't know, what was this here? Almost 60 years of correctional experience, or probably more, right? Like, some people are literally coming with no experience at all. And I think there's a way you want to make sure that your recruitment video is speaking to that person, right? I think to Joe's point, it's important to show all aspects of corrections. So while I think the tactical side is important, it's also important to see that there's so many other functions and other activities that take place that contribute to the successful running of a facility. And so if there's any way for us to kind of incorporate sort of all members of the family into the videos, I think that would be helpful to kind of bring the message home, right? Especially as we are moving through, I guess, as the pendulum is swinging again, and we are looking at sort of the rehabilitative side, there's a way that we need to sort of almost show like a partnership. So yes, there is that tactical, there is that softer side, but there's also sort of that, I don't want to say there's the mental health side. And I only say that because there's the classifications, right? There's
social services, maintenance.
Social services, there's the kitchen, there's the volunteers. There's just so much that happens. And I'm sure that you can't necessarily get all that in 45 seconds, right? But if there's a way for us to make sure that our content is evergreen and it's speaking to everyone, I would absolutely, ask that we make those efforts.
Yeah, I think part of what you're saying, I agree with you 100%. I think that just kind of to touch on what you and Joe were talking about, if you could show maybe in the videos, some of those interactions between custody being the foundation, I get it, but maybe interacting with those different departments to let them know that this is a small community. And again, the difference isn't just impacting the inmates, but the difference could also be helping the other departments, do what they got to do. You know what I mean? So, that's part of our service too, is servicing those other departments to make sure that we could connect and help them fulfill, what their aspect is, what their job is. So I do think that they could have showed a higher level of what the house is about. But I did feel it in the first video and the last video. I felt that it was defined by what I could give to this profession, as opposed to that video from New Zealand where it was more just so inmate driven. It was the first thing I got. So totally in the opposite of that. And I get they were trying to promote a lighter side. I just don't like where that lighter side originated from, if that makes any sense. I'd rather that come from me and why I choose to do it. Not because I'm from an inmate and why it should be done. I guess maybe that's what the perspective is. The perspective is, for me, from the New Zealand video, I felt like this is what the inmate was demanding from me, as opposed to the other videos where I get we want to make a purpose, but it's a purpose that we choose as staff, and then we later have that impact because we choose to have that impact. So yeah, I think this was great. We should do this more often. But let's see what people think. Because again, it wasn't an effort to bash, just to give some insight. Because I'm sure no video coming out there is going to be perfect. But I want to see if people agree with us. As always, guys, the show is Tear Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. Bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.